8 nations, 1 baton each, and 42 seconds to decide who is the fastest relay team on the planet. Jamaica has Elaine Thompson-Herah on the anchor leg, the greatest sprinter alive. England are the defending champions, and they are not giving up that title without a fight. Nigeria brought Tobi Amusan and Favour Ofili, 2 of the most dangerous legs in world sprinting. India, Australia, Scotland, Ghana, Trinidad, and Tobago. Every single squad in this final believes they can win it. Look at these athletes in the blocks. The focus, the stillness. 4 women per team, 1 baton passed at full sprint, and 1 dropped exchange ends everything. This is the women's 4x100m final, and you absolutely cannot afford to look away. In Lane 9, Scotland, Rebecca Matheson, Alicia Reese, Sarah Malone, and Taylor Spence, the 8th fastest team in qualifying and proud to be here in this final. Lane 8, Australia, Ella Connolly, Bree Masters, Jacinta Beecher, and Na Anang, the 3rd fastest qualifiers and absolutely capable of challenging for a medal tonight. India in Lane 7, Duty Chand, Hima Das, Shrabani Nanda, and Jyothi Yaraji, a squad that has been one of the brightest stories of these entire Commonwealth Games. Lane 6, Jamaica, Kemba Nelson, Natalia White, Ramona Burchell, and Elaine Thompson-Herah, whose nation holds the Games record and finished silver here in 2018. England in Lane 5, the 2nd fastest qualifiers, Asha Philip, Imani Lansiquot, Bianca Williams, and Daryll Neita, the defending champions hunting back-to-back gold. Nigeria in Lane 4, Tobi Amusan, Favour Ofili, Rosemary Chukwuma, and Nzubechi Grace Nwokocha, bronze medalists in 2018 and loaded with some of the fastest legs in this field. Ghana in Lane 3, Mary Boki, Latifa Ali, Gifty Kwakiwa Oku, and Haludi Hor, the 6th fastest team to earn their place in this final. And in Lane 2, Trinidad and Tobago, Khalifa Street Fort, Michelle Lee Ahi. Mauricia Prieto and Leah Bertrand, who qualified inside 43.5 seconds and are a genuine factor in this race. Now the spotlight falls on 3 teams at the very heart of this battle. Jamaica with their record-holding pedigree, England defending the title they won right here 4 years ago, and Nigeria with the speed across all 4 legs to beat anyone on this track tonight. Lane 2, Trinidad and Tobago, Lane 3, Ghana, Lane 4, Nigeria, Lane 5, England, Lane 6, Jamaica, Lane 7, India, Lane 8, Australia, Lane 9, Scotland. The women's sprint relay final is set, every athlete is locked in, and this race is about to begin. They're off. Tobi Amusan bursts out of the blocks in Lane 4, and Nigeria is flying from the gun. India going well in 7, Australia right there in 8, but Amusan looks the sharpest of anyone. First exchange is all around and they look clean. Favour Ofili takes the baton for Nigeria, and she is absolutely flying down the back straight. Imani Lansiquot surging for England, Jamaica working in Lane 6, but Ofili is the one pulling clear. Second exchange and Nigeria stays clean. Rosemary Chukwuma takes the baton and storms that bend. She is pulling Nigeria further clear. England and Jamaica both working hard, but Chukwuma is on another level. Nwokocha takes the baton. Nigeria leads by a mile. Nigeria wins, African record. Nigeria are Commonwealth champions. The 4 of them are screaming, arms wide, the emotion pouring out of every single one of them. A brilliant, brilliant run by this Nigerian squad. Gold and a new African record. England pick up the silver with Philip, Lansiquot, Williams, and Neita. They gave everything out there and ran a strong, composed final. Jamaica take the bronze, Thompson-Herah finishing with real power on that anchor leg. But this night belongs to Nigeria completely. Their baton work was clean at every single exchange. Their speed across all 4 legs was undeniable. And Rosemary Chukwuma's 3rd leg around that bend was the moment this race was truly decided. Favour Ofili spoke before these games about belief, about knowing Nigeria could compete with anyone in the world, and this squad proved every word of it. 42.10 seconds, a new African record. Nigeria did not just win this race, they dominated it from the very first stride to the very last. Nigeria confirmed as your gold medal winners, England silver, Jamaica bronze. The Nigerian flag is now being draped across the shoulders of these 4 women, and every single one of them has earned it. Elaine Thompson-Herah powered past Australia's Na Anang in the closing strides to claim Jamaica's bronze, a third medal at these games for Thompson-Herah. She took the baton with a massive gap to close and still refused to settle for fourth. That is a champion's mentality right there. The Nigerian women have been the story of this entire competition, and the relay gold is the perfect finish to a stunning week. Clean exchanges at every single zone, speed nobody on this track could match, and a brand new African record. When you combine all of that under the pressure of a final, the gold medal was never really in doubt. Let's break this down in slow motion because this Nigerian performance deserves a full look. Watch Tobi Amusan at the gun. Her reaction is sharp and clean, her drive phase is low and controlled, and she is finding top gear before the first 10 meters are even done. England's Asha Philip gets out well in lane 5 too, but Amusan has a half-step advantage almost immediately, and that margin never disappears. India and Australia both go well in 7 and 8, but it is Nigeria pulling clear right from the very first stride. Now the first exchange zone. Amusan drives hard into the zone, hand back early, and Favour Ofili receives it in full stride without any check in her speed. That is textbook relay execution. Watch Ofili's acceleration coming out of that handoff. She doesn't slow, doesn't hesitate, just takes the baton and immediately goes. England hand to Imani Lansiquot, who is flying down the back straight. Jamaica give it to Natalia White, but Ofili is running a different race from everyone else on this track. The gap to England grows through the straight. Jamaica are working, but White cannot close it either. Now, the decisive moment of the entire race, second exchange, and Rosemary Chukwuma takes the baton for Nigeria. Watch what she does on this bend. She attacks the curve with the controlled power, staying right at the outer edge of her lane, fighting every centrifugal force that turn throws at her and winning every single step. Bend running is a completely different discipline from straight line sprinting, and Chukwuma is a master of it under race pressure. She is not just holding the lead here, she is extending it stride by stride. England's Bianca Williams and Jamaica's Ramona Birchall are both running hard, but they simply cannot match what Chukwuma is producing. Watch her positioning at the apex of the curve. She almost grazes the outside of the lane to manage that speed, then tightens back in perfectly as she exits and sets up the final exchange. That is elite technical execution. The Nigerian lead going into the anchor zone is enormous. Final exchange now. Chukwuma drives hard into the zone, hand goes back, and Nzubechi Grace Nwokocha takes it cleanly and immediately hits the home straight at full speed. By this point, the gold is settled. England's Daryll Neita gives everything in lane 5. Good form, strong drive, but the gap is simply too large to close. Jamaica's Elaine Thompson-Herah receives the baton and brings that unmistakable closing power, but even she cannot recover what Nigeria built across 3 legs. Watch Thompson-Herah hunt down Australia's Na Anang for the bronze in those final strides. She was never going to settle for 4th. Now watch all 3 Nigerian exchanges replayed together. Clean, clean, clean. Not a single wobble, not a single stutter in any exchange zone across the entire race. For a squad running 42.10 seconds and setting a new African record, that level of technical discipline from every single runner is what separates a gold medal performance from a near miss. 7 medals for the Nigerian women across these games, and now this relay gold to close it all out. This is what it looks like when a team believes completely in what they can do together. Nigeria, Commonwealth champions, African record holders, and the gold medal team of these games. What an extraordinary performance from 4 extraordinary women. Nigeria's relay squad didn't win this race on the anchor leg, they won it on the 3rd. Rosemary Chukwuma took the baton into that second bend and simply ran away from the field. Not gradually, abruptly. She attacked the curve with such force that by the time Nzubechi Grace Nwokocha received the baton for the anchor leg, the race was already over as a contest for gold. That's where the African record was built. Not in the final straight, but in that 30-meter arc where Chukwuma hit the outer edge of lane 4 and refused to let the centrifugal force win. The technical story of this race is Nigeria's bend mechanics. Curve running separates relay squads more than people realize because you can't just sprint. You have to manage lean angle, you have to fight lateral drift, and you have to do all of that while accelerating through a handoff. Chukwuma did it better than anyone on the track. Her line through the apex was aggressive but controlled, staying wide to maximize her arc while keeping her hips square enough to maintain drive. Compare that to Jamaica's Ramona Birchall on the same leg, who had to work harder on the straight to compensate for position lost on the curve. Nigeria's exchanges were clean at all 3 zones. No panic, no stutter step. That's coachable. That's preparation showing up on the night. England ran a genuinely strong final and still got silver. Asha Philip gave them a solid first leg. Imani Lansiquot flew on the back straight. And Daryll Neita ran hard all the way through the line on the anchor even knowing the gap was too large. Philip's experience from World Championship relays showed in how she managed the opening curve. Bianca Williams is still developing at this level, and she held her own. The English squad's issue wasn't effort or even execution. It was simply that Nigeria's individual legs were faster, and the Nigerian exchanges were just as clean. Jamaica's anchor was Elaine Thompson-Herah, who came through for bronze in the closing strides, passing Australia's Na Anang with the composure you'd expect. But Thompson-Herah received the baton too far behind. Jamaica's earlier exchanges didn't lose them the race outright, but they didn't win them any ground either. And against a Nigerian squad running this time, any margin matters. The 42.10 is an African record, and it places this Nigerian squad in serious global company. For context, that time would have been competitive at recent World Championships. Nigerian women's sprinting has been building toward this moment for several years, with Tobi Amusan's individual sprint credentials now anchoring a relay unit that can actually deliver on the exchange work. The first leg from Amusan set an immediate tone. Her drive phase out of the blocks gave Nigeria a clean lead before the first exchange zone, and Favour Ofili extended it on leg 2. What's significant is that this wasn't a case of one world-class athlete dragging 3 average legs to a time. All 4 contributed. That's a different kind of team, and it's a different kind of result. The next major test for this group is the World Championships, where the standard is higher and the lanes are drawn with different variables. Nigeria will need those exchange zones to hold under the pressure of a final against teams like the United States and Jamaica at full strength. But 42.10 in Commonwealth competition is a legitimate credential. Chukwuma's third leg is the image that stays with you. Not the celebration, not the scoreboard. A woman running the bend of her life in lane 4 in Birmingham, pulling a nation with her.